They say every day is for the thief, one day for the owner of the house. But ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, has reversed the role. It is now every day for the owner of the house. If you're involved in bribery, over-invoicing, or any shady deal, the day of reckoning has come. ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, is watching you. If you're reported for any corrupt practice, you'll be investigated, prosecuted, and punished. Corruption is harmful to our nation. Join the campaign against it by reporting any corrupt practice to ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Let we join hands with ICPC, make them better.
Let's make Nigeria great again.
ICPC, they watch you.
One hand for corruption.
Break the chain of corruption now. Don't give, don't take. This message is brought to you by ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
In times past, the Nigerian society was one guided by ethical values and moral principles that provided order, ensured discipline, and aided development. Although it was still a nation diverse in tribes and cultures, it drew from the various cultures and traditions and blended them to form what could be recognized as its own values within the context of its nationhood. These values, which included integrity, accountability, and respect for constituted authority, provided the building blocks for the then exemplary Nigerian character. However, today, ethical values in governance as well as other spheres of life in Nigeria have been eroded by high-level corruption, by lack of integrity and accountability, and non-adherence to standards, especially in the public sector. It is in this light that ICPC, working with its partners, developed the National Ethics and Integrity Policy to help close the gap in the quest for reclaiming our lost ethical and integrity values. Welcome to Corruption Must Go, a production of the Public Enlightenment Department of ICPC. I am your host, Murna Barnabas Atiai. ICPC's most prominent function is its enforcement duty. However, its prevention as well as public enlightenment and education duties are no less significant. The Commission has the statutory responsibility derived from Section 6, A to F of the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000 to rid Nigeria of all forms of corruption. Today's edition focuses on ICPC's recent initiative, the National Ethics and Integrity Policy, approved by the Federal Executive Council and recently launched by Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari as part of the celebration of the country's 60th independence and ICPC's 20th anniversary.
I am happy that the ICPC, in collaboration with the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation and National Orientation Agency, worked together to prepare and present the National Ethics and Integrity Policy to the Federal Executive Council as part of the commemorative activities for Nigeria at 60. Federal Executive Council adopted this policy on the 19th of August 2020. I commend the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, ICPC, and National Orientation Agency for bringing to fruition this important priority objective of this administration. The National Ethics and Integrity Policy projects government's aspirations for rediscovery of our cherished traditional ethical values of honesty, integrity, hard work, truth and justice, unity, faith, and consideration for one another irrespective of status or background. Corruption and corruptive tendencies are abhorrent to these core ethical values. We must all join hands together to fight corruption and return to our traditional values of honesty and integrity. I hereby use the opportunity of this summit to launch the National Ethics and Integrity Policy as a fresh roadmap to return Nigeria to these critical national values.
At the launch of the policy, the ICPC chairman explained that the policy was initiated and worked on with many partners and stakeholders.
Your Excellency, sir, we're delighted that Mr. President will today launch the National Ethics and Integrity Policy as one of the milestones for Nigeria at 60 and ICPC at 20. We're delighted to have initiated and actively worked on this policy with stakeholders from the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation and the National Orientation Agency to return Nigerians to the values of old that made Nigeria great from north to south, east to west, and that promoted values that are cherished by Mr. President. The Ethics and Integrity Policy is a follow-up to previous initiatives of the Commission, such as the establishment of the Anti-Corruption and Transparency Units in 2002 and the development of the National Values Curriculum for Teaching, which has been introduced since 2012. This policy is a befitting follow-up to these initiatives, and we again thank those who have partnered with us for doing this.
Corruption can mess up every good thing a nation has. A nation is blessed with every good thing all around. If you and I care, we gonna get there. Just ask me how. It starts from you and I. Make you say no. When they give you bribe or ask you for bribe, make you say no. If you're there for office and tempted to steal, make you say no. We can only kill corruption and greed. Make we say no. Make we say no. Make we say no. Make you say no. When they give you bribe or ask you for bribe, make you say no. If you're there for office and tempted to steal, make you say no. We can only kill corruption and greed when we say no. When we say no. When we say no. When we say no.
The National Orientation Agency is responsible for mobilizing the general public towards understanding and facilitating the implementation of government policies and programs. It has also tried to promote ethical values such as dignity of labor, honesty, discipline, etc. among the general populace. As an agency that is collaborating with ICPC on a number of projects such as the launch and sensitization of the grassroots on the My Constituency, My Project campaign, how can it help implement the National Ethics and Integrity Policy to make it work for Nigeria?
While the ICPC is there to do as I have already outlined in my opening remarks, the National Orientation Agency also presents to the ICPC our robust national footprints. We are in all the local governments areas of the country. We speak all Nigerian languages. We are in all the states of the Federation. We have a national headquarters. We have a broad national platform. We have the platform of traditional rulers, with religious leaders, with civil society, with professional groups. And because of our ability to speak all Nigerian languages, we find it easy to communicate whatever it is that the ICPC wants to communicate with ease. There is no gainsaying the fact that for a very long time in our national history, we as the elite of the country have not been able to develop sufficient consensus on our ethical and value challenges. And that is why you see, from one administration to another, different forms of policies have been coming up to address ethical and value deficits. Is it the war against indiscipline, war against indiscipline and corruption? Is it the MAMSA? Is it the ethical revolution of President Shagari? So all different governments have come with different approaches and the nuances to address the issues of dwindling ethical and the value standards in our national life. This policy that has just been passed by the federal government, adopted by the Federal Executive Council, which the ICPC and the NOAA and the drivers actually have come. And they have come at a time when the country really needs to have a second hard look, if I must emphasize, at our ethical and integrity standards. And we cannot be talking about growing the economy. We cannot be talking about reforms in the public service. We cannot be talking about reforms in our democratic institutions. We cannot be talking about value for money, within the context of public expenditure. We cannot unless we are able to standardize our ethical and value operations. And this is something which is key to good governance. And of course, the ICPC, have found a good partner on this. The issue therefore is about we, the people, the individual, which we must necessarily have to police ourselves and do the right thing. And then by doing the right thing, you do the right thing, I do the right thing, the other person does the right thing, she does the right thing, he does the right thing, all of us as a collective do the right thing. No, definitely that is how we collectively develop and build a society that we are all going to be proud of. So it's not actually about government running the policy down the throats of people. It's not about the government running the policy down the throats of people, but government adopting a policy using all manner of platforms, moral suasion, enforcement, leadership becoming accountable, honest, open, the followership also becoming good followers, good citizens doing the right thing. That's how we create a great nation, and it is actually something that behoves all of us at individual levels and at group levels to do.
Other stakeholders in the drafting and implementation of the policy are religious leaders who have a role to play in values reorientation. We spoke with Imam Fuad Adeyemi and Reverend Father George Ehusani on the subject matter.
Our country, Nigeria as a whole, we have a lot of things that actually stood us out, and that is integrity. We have a lot of ethics and moral value which every religion, every tribe, every ethnic group follows, that allows you to protect each other. Then you discover that even that time, when those who are selling something, they just put the amount they are selling, they represent it by the things they are selling, and they leave. And anybody who wants to buy and go and pick whatever he wanted from it and pay his money without anybody being there. The question now is it like that now? We all know that it is not. Then how can we go back? And this is what I think the National Ethics and Integrity Policy of the ICPC intends to achieve. First and foremost, we just have to do what we call internalization of integrity among the generality of Nigerians. And how do we internalize? How do we internalize? We have to involve the education sector of it and religious leaders too. What I mean by that? Let the educational system, let them teach this thing. When they teach it, they imbibe it, and not just teaching it, let them practicalize it. I remember in one of our program we used to have in Habibia, we have children who we want to appoint Amir, we want to appoint Amira, that is the leader. We ask them to come and tell your colleagues. It's not because it's the child of Imam, it's the child of the secretary that is entitled to become anything. Address your colleagues. If they like you, let them choose you. And there is also a rule. The moment you don't do well, there is a law. We put it there, systematic law that they can recall you, that we don't want you again. They put another person there. So it means when you are there, you are conscious of what you are supposed to do. We have started doing that among children, and we see that it is working. So we want the ICPC to involve religious people, and the school so that they do not only teach this thing, let them practicalize it. When you want to appoint the what do you call it, the prefects in primary school, let them talk to their people. Let the children, let them choose whom they want. The teachers at the school can help them in guiding them. Okay, we have these 3 people that we are considering. You decide who should be, and let them give their own rule. That is the way it should be. If they start that from primary school, from nursery, from primary, from secondary, so that it's going to be internalized. And when we're able to get the politics right, then all of that things may actually be gotten right. And also, if this issue of the morals, which it's lacking, I think naturally we should discourage the idea of only punishing the offenders. There should be a way of promoting, rewarding somebody who is morally right and who is morally good. I remember there is a school in Germany. I met some friend. He was so proud. He said, my child, the first child, got the best integrity award in this year, and his younger brother too got the best integrity. He said they celebrate that one more than academic performances. So we should be able to promote integrity among children, among colleagues, among people in the offices. When we promote those who are doing things rightly, when we are doing those who are doing correctly, there will be positive competition among the people around. So when we're able to do this, it's not just about punishment that make things to do something. We encourage the religious houses. Let them promote the people who are probably somebody was able to donate 10,000 naira or 5,000 naira, and you know his salary is not more than 60,000 naira. Such a person that donates more something should also be promoted within the religious houses. Not only those who have brought millions, those who have stolen, that we celebrate. Let us celebrate those people who are doing legitimate work and they are able to bring the little which they have gotten, promote them, give them positions, bring them into forefront. Let people know that it is not because he has brought the little that he or she has worked for.
Before we discuss detailed policies about integrity in Nigeria, we really need to work on how Nigerians can have an emotional attachment to the concept of a nation. Emotional attachment. I mean, if you go to America and you see somebody who is pursuing his citizenship in America, or who recently got his national passport, American passport, and you see the emotion, the passion with which they talk about being Americans, we have a problem. Because if Nigerians and young Nigerians, if they can go to Nigerian Ports Authority and burn it down, young Nigerians, if they can go to customs office, not only loot the material there, but burn it down, or what it means is that we are having a large population of our young people who don't have any link, who have no connection, especially I mean emotional connection to the concept of Nigeria. It is with that love for country, that love for motherland, for fatherland, then we now begin to discuss what are our core values. Faith, unity, love, peace, those things that are in our national crest. It is then we begin to discuss those values and then begin to teach those values from the home, from the early childhood, begin to teach those values to nursery school children. Actually, from the parents to the nursery school, to primary school, to secondary school, to university. Then civic education, the principal part of civic education will be how do you impart these values. We need to delineate agencies. I mean, I'm happy that the National Orientation Agency is here. I think that is an arm of government that has been so neglected in terms of perhaps funding, perhaps the caliber of persons that head the agency, because everything we are talking about values in this country is This is the agency that is supposed to be carrying it on. And this agency has the infrastructure. I don't know about funding, but this agency have people in every local government, in 774 local governments in this country. National Orientation Agency has people in every state. They are the principal agents to popularize this kind of policy, to make Nigerians have a buy-in. It is time for us to recognize that we need to change our direction. We need to recognize that we have made the wrong choices at various times. We have lost many opportunities for a new Nigeria. We have made the wrong choices several times. This is the time now to begin to retrace our steps. Our people say that when you find yourself in serious problem, you ask yourself, when did the rain begin to beat us? When did the rain begin to beat us? How do we get back? You cannot fight corruption in a vacuum. You have to fight corruption and promote integrity within a certain geopolitical context, within a certain arrangements, social arrangements. If you have a situation where you can have islands of affluence amidst a sea of poverty, and you think you can teach integrity there, under that circumstance, you are joking. So, ICPC, I know ICPC is set up to fight corruption, that is true. But ICPC must fight corruption within the context of good governance. It is not all lost. Nigeria still has people of integrity. That is why Luke Stera Leadership Foundation, my foundation, started, and I got Professor Wasanoye to write the foreword to our new publication on models of integrity. He wrote the foreword to say that in spite of all that is going on in this country, there are people who are living lives of integrity. We need to project those people. And I say, National Orientation Agency, ICPC, EFCC should be part of projecting Nigerians that are doing the right thing. It's not enough to keep knocking people who are not doing the right thing, but we must be involved in showing, so that our young people don't go home feeling that everything is rotten.
The attention of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, has been drawn to the act of some unscrupulous persons who illegally and fraudulently extort money from unsuspecting Nigerians to obtain a so-called clearance certificate from the Commission. ICPC would like to clearly state that it does not have, nor does it issue certificate of clearance, and therefore it does not charge fees for any such certificates. Members of the public are hereby warned to be careful and suspicious of any request for payment of clearance fees and offers of procuring a certificate of clearance. Report any such to ICPC by email on info@icpc.gov.ng. Our toll-free number 0800 2255 4272 or any of the social media platforms showing on the screen.
Personal integrity among many Nigerians has been seriously compromised because of the value people have placed on possessions and power over and above decency and uprightness. An ethical reorientation would reverse this and achieve a corruption-free society. The National Ethics and Integrity Policy provides a comprehensive approach that will re-engage all citizens of Nigeria with its core national values. This will allow the nation to heal from sentiments and attitudes that fuel or support corruption, immorality, disunity, and underdevelopment. That will be all on this edition. We must as a nation be very careful of ethical fading and moral disengagement. Join us same time next week for yet another edition. Remember to do the right thing. Integrity pays. Bye for now.